It probably was 1940, and I was about 5 years old. We lived in Indiana at the time. My father had recently graduated in 1938 from Southern Baptist Seminary in Louisville, Kentucky. And his first pastorate, where there were two little country churches in Indiana, one in Rockville and the other in Plainfield. And every other Sunday, we would be at one of the churches. And I don't recall at which church this incident took place, but one Sunday morning, we sang the song, Blessed Assurance. I was sitting next to my mother, and I started to giggle. And pretty soon, the giggle just grew into laughter, and I couldn't control it, and so she took me by the arm and ushered me outside, and I got a spanking, and that was probably the only spanking in my life that I ever got that we didn't have a talk beforehand. But when it was over, she asked me what was wrong, and I just said, I just don't understand why they would sing that song. Because my father, every morning when he shaved, he would sing Blessed Assurance. And I just thought, I just couldn't understand why they would sing a shaving song in church. It just didn't make sense to me, and I found it very funny. So every time for the past 67, 68 years, whenever we sing Blessed Assurance, I remember the spanking that I got as a little girl in Indiana in a little country church.
My favorite song is How Great Thou Art, because when I was a little girl, my mom sang in the choir, and she wore a blue robe with a gold thing. And it was so pretty, and I was the youngest of 4 kids, so I would like hide behind her. I was shy. Surprising, I know. Anyway, so she would sing in the choir, and my mom sang like an angel, and I love that. So when she passed away, we had that as our song for her funeral. And I was so, so sad. And so the first day I came back, from there I came to church, and Jim Pocock, if some of you know him, was the pastor at the time, and he had that song the first day. So I cried and cried and cried. And Beth, his wife, found me in the bathroom, and she said, you know, what was wrong? And it was my time to know that this was where I was supposed to be, and God wanted me in this church. I've been here 13 years now, and it was really great.
The two most important songs that I think I tended to lean on the most were What a Friend We Have in Jesus and Trust and Obey. And those songs are so important, and I feel kind of like hopefully they, through osmosis or whatever, my kids have, you know, taken to those songs and what they have to say about that they always have a friend in Jesus. I mean, Jesus will always be their friend and their best friend, and I really believe my children have kind of taken that, and that he really is. And same thing with Trust and Obey, that that's so important, that we just need to trust and obey and lean on Jesus. And so if you ever want me to hold your child or rock your child, I will probably end up singing to them and probably out of tune.
One of my favorite hymns is Wonderful Grace of Jesus. I can remember learning it first time back in high school, going to Community Baptist Church in Manhattan Beach. Every Sunday evening after our evening service, the high school and college groups would get together at someone's house, and we would sing. And we wouldn't just sing hymns, we'd sing choruses as well. But we treated Wonderful Grace of Jesus as a chorus. And to hear 50, 60 voices, whether a cappella or with music, singing that song was just horrendous, because all 4 parts were sung. We all sang the things, and the whole point is to be able to hit that high note at the end. It was a great time by all, and it's really one of my favorite ones to hear that. And lately when we've sung it in church, it's been great, because I can see everybody's smiles out there. They're all into this song, and I just think it is such a neat testimony from God to us, as well as a promise of His grace.
See, the song I'm going to talk about is Whiter Than Snow, which kind of reminds me of my college days. I had a friend who was 2 years older than I, and he was an ordained minister, but we were both going to college at the same time. And he had a little church in Mesquite, New Mexico, and I was his song leader. And this is a picture. This is a picture of the little church in Mesquite, New Mexico. Most of these are farmers in the Mesilla Valley, and so it's about 10 miles from New Mexico A&M. Invitational songs, which made me think about my college days, were in the old days. After the minister gave his sermon, he would offer an invitation to the congregation to come down to rededicate their life or to give their life to Christ. Today we don't necessarily do that anymore, but it was called an invitational song, and Whiter Than Snow is an invitational song, which you don't hear anymore. And the author of Whiter Than Snow was talking about a person in the congregation who might want to dedicate his life and receive Christ, and then his life would be whiter than snow. It kind of goes like this. Lord Jesus, I long to be perfectly whole. I want thee forever to live in my soul. Break down every idol, cast out every foe. Now wash me and I shall be whiter than snow. Whiter than snow, yes, whiter than snow. Now wash me and I shall be whiter than snow. If you happen to play golf with me and walk down the fairway, you might hear me sing Whiter Than Snow.
The main subject here is a favorite hymn, and it just happens to be in the pew, in that old songbook that's in the pew, in the back of the pew, and it's page 543, and it's called The Family of God. And the reason I picked that particular one was I thought and I said, well, you know, the family of God, that's the family camp. That's got to be it. I'm telling you, it was a wonderful vacation for my wife and I. She got to not cook, which was a wonderful thing, with having 3 kids, and she got to see people and talk with them. And she didn't have to worry about her children because they were just running all around, but they were safe as can be, and they were guided by such great counselors. So I would say that there was a wonderful experience for us to have up at Thousand Pines.